I wasn't so sure about this RKX thing, but AIX is certainly worth looking into.
I'm most impressed that Jason is not going to tell you something, he's going to show you.
RKX shows us if you record enough facts, the answers just stare you in the face.
A man who knows the facts is unafraid to joust with contrary opinions. That's Jason.
I can't have that dude on my show. You know how many guys I've had on here who are running from that dude? Be a mess.
Jason says being wrong gets us closer to being right.
You got to break free or die trying, guys.
RKX showed me how to see if there was a tater in them onions.
Listen, RKX isn't one guy against the Matrix. That's dumb. No, it's a family of souls waking up.
If I've learned anything since finding RKX, if something is true somewhere, it's probably true everywhere.
Jason said if it's true, we can see it from multiple different vantage points.
So I broke pattern and went up there and slapped that guy. Total pattern break.
If you get stumped, you got to break pattern.
Jason says you don't need to know how to read, you need to know how to think. I think that's where I went wrong.
Jason figured it out. People are smart and they can decide for themselves if something is true or not.
No, I don't have anything to hide. I just don't want Jason anywhere near my accounting files.
There's a bunch of us who don't listen to RKX. We signed a different deal. I think it's AIX or something.
There is an object hidden in the sky. Our predecessors studied its appearances. Like a vast clockwork apparatus, it appeared on a fixed timeline and disappeared whole civilizations. They have left us records of this invisible eye in the sky and how they hid underground from its face. They feared the return of the Phoenix. Good afternoon. See, I changed up my intro a little bit. I have so many different intros. I need to start doing that more often. Let's see. Let me remove this from studio. I'm pretty sure my audio is good. I haven't made any changes. Glad to see you guys join me. This is going to be, I'm wearing my hair. You know, I only wear this shirt. We're going to be talking about some deep stuff. You guys know my first 50 videos, it was already established that harrowing was one of my words. All right. Let's see here. Thank you guys for your support. Yeah, we got some serious ground to cover. Thank you, Meryl Gigi. Can't wait to see you later this year. Well, that's the next couple of months, matter of fact. I had a nice pattern break. A lady that we met at the Fort Worth meetup is passing through Texas. She's on a total pattern break herself after a lifetime in California. She just up and sold everything, liquidated all her assets, and has a nice amount to play with, and just set all the way across the nation, stopped here through Texas to holler at us, take us out to Olive Garden, and she's on her way to Florida, and we'll see her at the Florida meetup too. But she's a total pattern break. She's starting her whole life over again. West Coast to East Coast. That's a hell of a break. All right, so thank you, Gaia Sonoma. I'm going straight into this presentation. Let me get this file open real quick. All right. I may have buried it. I do that from time to time. Let's see. I do not know. Let's see. Is the clip? I seem to have. I've got so many copies of it. I might have too much on my desktop here. I seem to have misplaced the file, which means I just put it back. All right. No big deal. There it is. All right. I was so busy with my intro trying to get it ready, I totally forgot to copy this file. Now I got it on. Now I got it on my desktop. I'm opening it. I'm about moving so fast, guys. I may have misnamed the file. Hold on. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. All right. This is what I get. Moving too fast, guys. All right, this is, I can't believe this happened. I literally copied the wrong file. Let me go get the right file. This doesn't make any sense. All right, go back here again. Okay, I did copy the wrong file. So I'm going to go back and get the right file, and it's not going to take me long, but you guys are just going to have to endure that original intro because I have to go to my other computer to get that whole file off. I'm telling you, I've been working on this video up until right now. It's crazy. That's how much data we have to go through. So yeah, you're going to have to endure my original. You know what? I broke pattern and I should have done it. Let me get that original file. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I transferred a file of unedited notes, which are all the images and the video clip I'm going to show you in this presentation. But it was all the unedited versions. I copied the wrong file, and I was going through. I was like, oh, this is all the stuff that I haven't even put together yet. It was all the data. So I had to go back into my other computer, download everything, and now we have it. We got like I said, we got a lot to cover. It's gonna be some amazing stuff. The first video, we opened up the can. And let's go ahead and present that real quick. So I'm gonna remove that from studio. I'm going to share screen real quick. So yeah, that first video was that was a doozer. But you know, all it did was create this issue. All right. Man, we got a lot of stuff to look at. All right. So you guys are looking at this. Okay. The first video led to this huge revelation. What you're seeing here are all three eclipses. Now, everybody's been focused on the eclipse that's coming up, and you should be. You should be. I'm going to show you how unique it is in this video. But the connection to the other eclipse, total eclipse across North America that formed an X. A lot of people have been pointing this out, and I told you in my other video, I didn't bring this to the table. There's hundreds of videos out there talking about this huge X made by the shadows. Now, what I did bring to the table was the difference in time between them, and the epicentral date that it shows is 12/14/20. And this is what we need to pay attention to. It helps you decode what these eclipses are about, why these rituals are done by the elite at these exact same times. Because this was, and this is what nobody else had mentioned, was that the center date was also an eclipse, the exact day that also the Americas was covered over in eclipse. But on that same day that Chile and Argentina went through that eclipse, in North America, the vaccine was made available for the very first time to the public, and it was manufactured at the Chesterfield, Missouri Pfizer facility, which the shadow of the eclipses both pass over. So on this exact same day of 12/14, that the vax was released, we also have the Electoral College putting Joe Biden in for president, though Trump got the popular vote. So these are some really, really interesting issues, and it's good thing that I didn't stop looking, because after this video was over and I showed all the associations to ancient Assyria, why the Jonah story and Nineveh story are related, and how the ancient story of Nineveh and Assyria happens to be a blueprint for the United States riots and eclipse, and then the United States, being at economic and social period, almost to the brink of economic and social collapse, and then they're given 1776 more months because they accepted what Jonah had to say, and it was 148 more years added to their deal, and that was just for obedience to God. This is the narrative. I'm not saying it's true. It's in the historical record. This is what we know. This is what all the calendric shows, that these eclipses are attached to the United States. They're attached to the number 1776, and it's very compelling that 1776 is the number associated to the concept of not only just independence, but revolt and rebellion. These involve violence, but it also was the close of an era and the beginning of another one. And a lot of people survived through it. But these are the concepts attached to this. This is just the beginning. This video you're going to see here is going to go far beyond this discovery and show you what the elite have been doing using a system that we're just discovering that they've already known about. They have been using ritual and patterning to essentially introduce into the field the very phenomena that we 12, 13, and 14 years later experience. We've already seen this with the Olympic ceremonies. We've seen how the whole COVID narrative unfolded, but it was all patterned in the 2012 Olympic ceremonies, the opening and closing ceremonies. We've seen the Phoenix in the ceremonies, all the people in the hospital beds and the nurses dancing around with the masks and all that. Every bit of that is ritualistic patterning, and it's done to affect the field. This is why it's done. And they do this while there are hundreds of thousands of human observers. So those observers, by observation, they lend energy to the construct, the construct being built in patterning. What the participants aren't told, they're not told, is what the patterning is building and why, what it's doing. This is known only to a few. It is the exact same thing I've told you guys over and over and over. What Enoch did as the architect of the Great Pyramid was to introduce pi and phi curvature equations, palindromes. Every single constant of science that we have documented is recorded in the dimensions of the Great Pyramid. Everything from the apophthegm to its vertical, horizontal distances, interior and exterior, rectilinear links. I've shown this on my channel. These are absolute perfect mathematical patterns, and what Enoch did was secretly encoded the 138 year, the fine structure constant programming was put into the dimensions of the Great Pyramid. What all these other researchers are bringing to the table is everything the pyramid was supposed to reveal. Everything about pi and phi and the 365.24, 360 degrees in a perfect circle. All this spherical mathematics was encoded for a reason, because if you're going to inject a Trojan program into something like the construct itself, then you need to create a template that the construct recognizes. And when the construct can recognize that the Great Pyramid contains all the constant physics and all the protocols and mathematical relationships that it itself is governed by, then it recognizes in itself that the Great Pyramid is a lithic representation in three-dimensional geometry of the protocols of the construct itself. Therefore, when Enoch was the architect and he introduced the 138-year Trojan programming to be disrupted or to change exactly what it did, the construct didn't know that what was being built, because Enoch removed himself from the equation. He was not a part of the building project. So the builders rejected the chief cornerstone. Enoch's plan was completely successful, because not one architect or engineer that was actually at the site of Akuzan building the Great Pyramid and then the Second Pyramid and the whole Giza Sphinx complex, they didn't have a clue that Trojan programming was in there. They didn't know. They just knew about all the physics constants. They knew all that. So the construct knew about it. Construct paid attention to their conversations, everything they said. This is how patterning works. This is why my Great Pyramid videos are just now starting to gain traction. People understand it is a gigantic 451-foot high ritual that was performed in the ancient past, and its existence is the very reason for the unfolding of historical events. So this is where we're going with this. We're not talking about the Great Pyramid anymore. It's used as an illustration that I have showed many, many times. Patterning, rituals are patterning, and they require energy. Energy is borrowed from observers. This is why this is done in these huge coliseums and stuff. That's why these NFL concert halftime shows, these are elaborate rituals that are done by just a few designers, not allowing anybody down further down the echelons of all the costume designers and all the choreographers and the dancers. They don't have a clue. They don't have a clue what they're involved in. Only the people that design the rituals, because those are the ones that inform the construct. In another ritual where they verbally say out loud what it is they're trying to accomplish, and then the construct takes all the participants of the ritual and then uses that to start building the picture of the future. This is what we're going through, guys. This is why all these Hollywood productions and all these rituals are very important to pay attention to. I don't have the energy nor the time of day to go through all these. But in this video, after watching my last video and after seeing this video, many of you should now have the tools necessary where you can start doing exactly what I've been doing and uncover all this stuff fast. We can learn exponentially together. Yeah, I can be removed from the equation because the system is set. Isometric palindromes govern the holography of our existence. They're everywhere and they have deep meaning. And this video is going to convince you of that. Everything that was said in the first video was not only confirmed in this video, but is confirmed from absolutely totally different mathematical relationships. So there's that chart. Probably spoke too long on that. Oh, let's see. All right. I'm still sharing my screen. I need to remove that. Yeah. So yeah, guys, it's first of all, just for a little history class, on the month of May, on May 28th in the year 1900, Brownsville, Texas, experienced an eclipse of totality. The shadow, the eclipse of totality, the shadow of totality was over Brownsville, Texas. The rest of Texas, it was annular. They only saw it from a distance. Only saw it from an angle. So 1900 was a long time ago. So if you think these total solar eclipses that, I'm not talking about annular eclipses where you see it from a distance and it never covers the whole sun. I'm just talking about total solar eclipses where the entire sun is blotted out by the moon. Now, I understand that there's a lot of people, myself included, that believe an entirely different phenomenon is unfolding. I am a proponent that the sky lies, the stars lie. Everything in the sky is a holographic projection done by a very incredible technology that is projected from within a Dyson shell. This is the cosmology that I believe, because I believe the real universe is on the outside of that Dyson shell. But we are in a false reality. We are in the reality of the demiurge, but it doesn't matter. It's not even the subject matter of this video. So across most of Texas, Panhandle all the way to east of Houston, in the year 1878 was a total solar eclipse in Texas. So I'm showing you guys it's not frequent. It's not frequent at all. That's a 22-year difference between 1900 and 1878, but it was different areas of Texas that saw an eclipse. Now, if you think 22 years is not that long, you have to understand, before 1878, Texas had not had a single eclipse where the shadow of totality passed over Texas in 592 years. The year was 1286 AD. November 17th was the last time this happened, and it went straight over the area that later became Houston. These aren't common at all. They happen all over the world every year, but they never happen in the same places. So, well, they do happen in the same places. It's just infrequent. So just so you'll know that this eclipse passing into the United States in Texas and then crossing all of Texas south to north and then going through the rest of the United States, this is very uncommon. It is very uncommon. So we know in the first video that Nineveh was spared and survived 1776 more months, which is 148 years. It was destroyed in 612 BC. But had it not obeyed and listened to the prophet Jonah, whether the story is real or not, had it not obeyed, then Nineveh, and by extension the empire of Assyria, which was the Americans of the time, they would have only survived 40 more days. 40 more days, they were going to be wiped out. So And that's exactly what happened 148 years later. 1776 months later, they were wiped out. Wiped out so perfectly that in 1849, the same year Pfizer was founded as a company, in 1849, BC, which is the same year Pfizer was founded, was also the exact same time that we found Nineveh's underground library, which yielded 30,000 texts. So it's really interesting. Now, the Assyrian eponyms reveal that around the time of the eclipse in Nineveh, there were riots, there was civil unrest, and there was a plague. Pay attention to all these details as we go through this video. This video is going to have a tremendous amount of stuff to unpack. But Assyria still continued, despite plague, despite civil unrest and riots, despite something strange happening in the sky, the eclipse of 763 BC, for which is the background story to the Jonah 3 days of darkness deal. This is the background story to Nineveh. Nineveh survived all that just fine, 1776 more months. So in the first video, we learned that the South American eclipse was the epicentral day that allows for us to see all three solar eclipses and what they have in relation to each other. This death-rebirth cycle of the United States, which in itself is connected to both the pharmaceutical giant Pfizer and the Chesterfield vaccine manufacturing plant, where Pfizer released it for the first time for the public. The shadow of the eclipse passes right over Chesterfield. So that video should have been 5 hours long, like I told you guys in my post. It should have been 5 hours long because all this data should have been included. It should have been one big epic video. So we're going to continue with this. Now, the sun and moon, as we know, the sun and moon are appointed as keepers of time. They're also appointed for signs. A solar eclipse actually involves both of them. A sign is a communication. As all the ancient systems and biblical systems are day count systems, and you know, my channel, I go into a lot of detail. For those of you new to my channel, my Archaics veterans can educate you. We go into the day count systems of the pre-flood world because every single calendar prior to the cataclysm, which you know of as the flood of Noah, was a day count system. The Sumerians counted the turnings of the stars. It was called shars. And this is what makes sense of all the Sumerian Anunnaki records. But in India, they counted days, and they counted these days in terms of 216,000 units and 432,000 units and 108,000 units and 864,000 units and 720,000 units. Every single one of them is divided perfectly by the 144,000 days of a single Mayan Bacton. The Mayan long count calendar and the ancient Olmec calendars were all day count systems. All these systems were day count systems, and this is what we're doing now. It's just like the days of Noah. The things that were popular back in the pre-flood world have now come back. Hollywood has brought all this stuff back to us, and the day count system is what I'm showing in all these eclipse videos. So this these great revelations I've showed many things on my channel where years and days are used in biblical eschatology all the time. When a prophet is told to lay on his side for 40 days, it is because a nation has been rebellious and they've been rebellious for 40 years, and he's told to turn over and lay on his side for another 40 days. And this is a promise of 40 more years of whatever. But over and over in the Old Testament, these prophets are told to do these rituals, and these rituals are always in days, but they involve years. The unfolding of historical events are always in years, but the patterning is done in days. So we're going to see this right here in this video, because all this factoring of days only, and then the eclipse, are phenomena that mark as important. These are important for events in the collective. Here's another thing that you have to understand is integral to the Archaics paradigm. You are living in two different realities at the exact same time. When we're discussing eclipses and we're discussing riots and we're discussing civil unrest and we're discussing empires, and these are things that are earmarked for the collective. They are already in the field. But in the personal, none of these things apply. But fear makes you a participant. You have to understand, if fear will always merge your field, your personal field, with the overfield around you, and that's not what you want. We don't do this type of analysis to scare anyone. We do it because we're hoping you have the spiritual strength and the maturity to objectively hear the things you hear this type of data and understand that we're talking about how the construct operates and how the construct controls the collective. If you believe you are a member of the collective, then you are. I promise you, you are. Yeah, the construct is not going to make you out to be a liar. So this is a construct, though, and it is ruled by the demiurge. There's nothing holy about this world. We are not in an actual creation and world of the oversoul, the one that we are connected to by intuition, empathy, and imagination, the true spiritual eternal Godhead. This is not what's happening here. Inside this experience right here, we're in the domain of the evil one, and the hint and the evidence of this predator versus prey ecosphere, and the basically the signature of violence of this deity is everywhere. And people just refuse to see it because they're programmed by religion not to. So these are things you really need to consider before we go into some of this, because like I said, I'm wearing this shirt for a reason. I'm wearing it for a reason. Fear makes you a participant. So you need to pay attention. Some of you may not even want to watch this video. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel, though. But we're going to have to go through the dark in this video in order to see exactly what that is. So rituals, they're patterning. And patterning always impregnates the field over a period of time. The result of ritual is that a set series of projections are defined by someone who explains what the ritual is for, but they never tell the public. They never tell the public. Then the construct knows the intent and then absorbs all the ritual and participant energy. This thought construct now acts out. And I'm going to tell you now, it's as simple as this. You're not going to want to hear it, but it's as simple as this. One person in the quiet of their office can literally say out loud what a grand design is designed to do. And the construct will hear that, but it will never act because this is a blueprint. But once everything in the blueprint is done, this series of movies is released. This ritual is done at the Olympics. This false flag psyop is done in this city right here. Once everything is done that's on the blueprint that was basically uploaded to the construct by making the construct aware of what the blueprint entails. And then these events start happening exactly the way the blueprint says. Then if the intent of the blueprint is manifest, and it's as easy as that, somebody can create something terrible and horrific inside the construct, and they're actually using the energy of the observers of these events to do it. That's what they're doing. So this is the world we live in, guys. This is how wicked Hollywood is. Yeah, I don't give them. I'm not giving them any breaks. This is how evil Hollywood. I don't even want to say has become, because the more I look back in some of these older movies, I see it now. I see, damn, I've been doing this all along. So let's look at pattern one. I want to look at pattern one. All right. Check my chat first because I run my mouth a lot without looking. All right, so All right. So, April 8th is the eclipse. It's connected to 1776 in my prior video. But in this video, it's also connected to 1776. So, it's a very simple calculation, guys. 3,552 days, a golden proportion number, is actually 1776 plus 1776. You're going to see all this later in chart form. Now, 1776 days plus 1776 days leads us to the date of July 18th, 2014. Before the April 8th eclipse that's about to happen. Now, before I show you what happened on that date of July 18th, 2014, the exact midpoint with the eclipse here, July 18th, right here, 2014, the exact epicentral day is May 29th, 2019. The central day was May 29th, 2019. These two dates are going to unlock a series of mind-blowing patterns. This is another isometric projection that I didn't show in the first video because I wasn't looking. On May 29th, the epicentral date, on May 29th, 2019, the George Floyd was arrested. This was a part of a ritual. George Floyd was arrested on this exact date. This man would later be killed. Now, I know some of you contend that. This man would later be killed. And in the ensuing riots and protests in the United States, the White House went on lockdown. The riots and lockdown were later, but this was the exact day George Floyd entered the pattern. It may have all been PSYOP, but 1776 days before that movie was released, before that event happened with George Floyd, a movie was released in America about America being on lockdown for 12 hours. This movie is called The Purge: Anarchy. It opened up in theaters nationwide on July 18th, 2020. July 18th, 2018. So, or 2014, excuse me. This is a perfect isometric pattern. Anybody can get your little date calculators out off Google, or they got all kinds of them, and put the two dates in there, and you will find the exact mid date is May 29th, 2019. It's amazing. It's amazing. You're going to see it when you see it on chart. It's even more amazing. But it unfolds in multiple different ways. So this movie, The Purge: Anarchy, is set in the year 2023. But the movie is the second in the franchise. The first Purge movie was released in the US on June 7th, 2013 by Universal Pictures, and the setting for the story was the year 2022. With the first and second Purge movies set in the years 2022 and 2023, then a pattern begins to unfold in the fact that a third movie was released, which calendrically should be 2024, but they cleverly concealed that. And this movie, the third movie, is titled The Purge: Election Year. That's the name of the movie. There is a pattern here, but it is very cleverly hidden. The actual setting for the movie should have been 2024 if they would have maintained precedent, but they didn't. They jumped to the year 2040. This is where it gets really interesting. Not because my archaics veterans are already going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my, I get it. 2040 is the next Phoenix phenomenon date in the month of May. I get it. But that's not where we're going with this. All my Arcades veterans know the importance of that date. So, this movie, The Purge election year, has critical data in it that we're going to look at. It is absolutely amazing. They know what they're doing when they're releasing these movies. At least the upper echelons do. The actors don't. Actors don't have a clue. That's why they always look dumb at the awards. That's why they always look dumb. Got dumb facial expressions on in public when they're asked certain questions about movies and all that. They don't know. They have no idea about the deeper subtext that is put in all these cinematic presentations. That's 2 patterns I just showed you real fast. You're going to see them in a chart form. But these are 2 patterns real fast that are very revealing. But here's a third pattern. The 4th movie is called The First Purge. Get this. The 4th movie in the Purge franchise is called The First Purge. It's a prequel. And it was released on July 4th, 2018. 1776. Here's a reference to 1776 again. So, July 4th, Independence Day. But this Purge movie, check this out. This Purge movie counts down, the release, July 4th, counts down exactly 1447 days to the April 8th eclipse. My Archaics veterans know that number well. 1447 BC by many different species of chronological analysis. All over the world, chronographers and ancient texts and modern works have all identified 1447 BC as the year of the 10 plagues on Egypt and the Exodus story. It is the year 2448, Anno Mundi. Remember, in ancient Egyptian, 2448 is the number for cataclysm. So, I'm not saying cataclysm's happening this year. I'm just saying all this is relative. So, 2448 is one of those magical numbers that's divisible by 153. Though I know my Christian mystics and some of my Archaics veterans know the significance of 153. It comes up everywhere in my Chronicon. 153 is a number that is always found when the true God, the oversoul, on the outside of the construct is moving inside the construct. Every single time you find the number 153 in all 306, all of its multiples, 2448, is when there's like an override that comes from outside the Daishin shell, outside the construct. It is the eternal. It is the one that even the God of this world, the Demiurge, cannot defy. 153 is one of those numbers. It's everywhere in my Chronicon, but it's only in those places where like an outside factor just all of a sudden changes the dynamics of a whole situation that says, man, I've had enough. We're doing this. 153 is that number. So 2448 is by extension the number 153. Now, also at this time in 1447, well, there was a darkness over Egypt during the 10 plagues. So we have this Purge movie, the 4th one, 1,447 days before April 8th, 2024. So, but it's also self-referencing. And what I mean is this could be coincidence. You could easily lay to my charge, Jason, you're reaching. It's just a coincidence. Yeah, it's 1447 days. Yeah, we've seen your research on 153 and on 14. Yeah, man, all that's good, but it's still reaching. It's not. It's self-referencing. Here's how it's self-referencing. If we look at this 1447 in a totally different dimension of arithmetic, if we take 1,447 and divide it by the golden proportion, phi, which is 1.618, we are left with the number 894. So 14, in a different dimension of arithmetic, 1447 is the same as 894. 894 days after the first Purge movie. The same countdown. Instead of counting 1,447 days from the release of that movie, the same countdown is just 894 days. When you do that, you get to 12/14/2020. I got to show it to you because I know a lot of people are not following me. I'm going to have to show it to you. It is mind-boggling. Present, share my screen. Have I been sharing my screen this whole time? Hold on. Present. Oh, there it is. Share screen. All right. Entire screen. Let me get up in here. Just going to have to show it to you again so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. 894 days after, which is the number 1447 in a different dimension of arithmetic. It's right here. It's the 12/14/20. It is the solar eclipse over South America and Chile, the epicenter between these two eclipses. This is a third mathematical connection to the Purge franchise movies to the April 8th eclipse. Vaccine first made available, manufactured in Chesterfield, Missouri, right here, Pfizer facility, and it's connected to the fact that the Electoral College elected Joe Biden for president, right here. Right here. This is what it's connected to. This is what I mean all the time. In Chronicon, I show this a lot. These things are self-referencing. Truth is always multifaceted, and you're always going to be able to see anything that is real from multiple different perspectives. Any claims that are out there and they can only show it by one means, one method, it's probably not real. It's probably just coincidence. If coincidences are even existing. So, all right. Yeah, I'm going to have to disagree. I look at my chat every once in a while, but Earth Alchemy Holistic LLC, I'm going to disagree. Says, I hope you guys, right here, I'm going to put them on blast. I hope you guys understand this is astrology. How is this astrology? How is this astrology? I don't understand. This is calendrics. Is it because it's related to the moon that you claim it as astrology? I mean, I don't know any astrologer. Name a single astrologer who has brought any of this to your attention. I don't understand. I don't study astrology. I don't know anything about it. My experiences with astrology have all been negative. All right, now let's see. I'm still sharing my screen. I need to stop. Yeah, I just disagree. You might be right. I don't know. But until I am confronted with the information that is persuasive, that makes me change my mind, and I've changed my mind many times about things. Hell, I voted for Trump. Now I can't stand the man. But yeah, that's you're gonna have to lay it out. You're gonna have to show me. All right, so we're still moving forward in these patterns. You've seen, I just showed you calendrical patterns that link the Purge franchise movies with the White House being locked down, riots in America, protests, with the April 8th eclipse. So it's crazy, but we are far from done. We are far from done. When you see all these in chart form, you're gonna realize this is amazing. But first, we're gonna have to see. We can't just claim. We can't just claim that those movies had something to do with patterning and ritual, trying to create the very scenario that the movies show. We have to show evidence for this, so we're going to. I took some of the Purge franchise facts and screenshots from this guy's channel, CZ World. He reviews horror movies and likes to find all the Easter eggs hidden in films. So he didn't find them all, but he's good. He's real good. Let me show him real quick so you guys know. The video I watched was amazing. I was really impressed with it. But he's got a fun channel. He's got over 1 million subs. He's got a fun channel. All he does is review horror movies. That's what he did. So let me see. I think I know I planned on sharing this with y'all. So let me see. I'm still slow at this image manipulation stuff. All right. Yeah, let me show. I know I was going to share that with y'all. Where is this guy? Yeah, I know y'all can see that. Yeah, CZ's World. Yeah, man, he's got a nice little channel going. 1.443 million subs. He's doing pretty good. But, you know, that's just the state of our world. People are fascinated with the horror stuff. So here it is. Here's a channel if y'all want to check it out. I only watched some of his Purge breakdowns. He does breakdowns on movies, and he's got other movies where he's trying to find all the Easter eggs. So, yeah, pretty good. That's CZ's World right here. And it's pretty cool channel. Matter of fact, after the video's over, I'll put the link in the description box. Yeah, but I like that one. So, since I'm stop sharing, so let's talk about some of these themes. Some of these themes in this the Purge, because every bit of this is relative. Before we go into some calendrics that are going to seal the deal, I just showed you 3 epic patterns, but the last 4 patterns are the ones that are going to seal the deal. It's amazing that these Purge movies were rituals, and they were specifically designed for the period we're living in right now. All right. Got so much stuff here. I need to figure out what I'm doing. So now, that's the Purge breakdown. All right. Exit that. Y'all just give me a second. I got a video I'm about to show you. There it is right there. We'll put that right there to the side. Excellent. I got everything right. Excellent. That right there. All right. All right, let's see. I'm going to need to get this video here. I'm going to show, let me split my screen up. Present this video file. Wonder why I did it like that. There we go. There we go. Yeah. All right. That's just a reel. It's merely a reel. I have a lot of screenshots to show you. This is a reel, just familiarizing you basically with what's going on here. I wonder if there's a different way I can do this. I'm trying to figure out if there's a better way to put that reel in there. I guess not. They don't give a lot of options on StreamYard. Don't give a lot of options on StreamYard, guys. So, yeah, that's crazy. All right, we're going to get into this. This is what you need to know about these movies. And I promise you, if you've watched these movies before, you probably didn't make these catches. You probably did not make these catches because you would have had to have been looking for them to have seen them. So, the Purge franchise movies, which are connected to the eclipses, when the eclipses are connected to the vaccine and Pfizer, riots, Washington, D.C., all this stuff. Listen, let's just get into the data. So, during a Purge night, all crime is legal, and there are, robberies, vandalism, whatever you do, hacking, murder, everything for 12 hours is legal. It's all everything you can imagine. So during the purge, government and corporations put bounties on people so others can get paid for purging them. This is what it's called, purging, killing them. It's only a 12-hour period once a year. This is what's going on in America. According to these movies, it's 2022, 2023, and then very cleverly concealed in the last three movies, as I showed you, it's really 2024. And I'm going to show you more evidence for that. It's 2024, election year. I'm even going to show you they very, it was a sophisticated deceit. How they veiled the eclipse reference in the Purge movies. It's amazing. It shows you that the true pattern is 2022, 2023, and 2024 when everything takes off. This is in the movies. Now, although the movie says 2040, I'm going to show you 2024 what they're conveying. So anyway, the elite, they have hired purge squads of assassins that go out and operate in the community from ordinary contractor vans, like a plumber's van, a painter's van, a telephone company van. Ordinary vans and all ordinary vehicles that have decals on them that you would ignore are murder vehicles, and they're put all over the cities. Pay attention to what I'm saying. The elite offer low-income people financial incentives to volunteer to join the purge. Yeah, it's almost like a whole bunch of migrants being allowed to come in here and just given a whole bunch of money to stay. To stay for what? What's the holding pattern? Those who sign up are also given a box of blue flowers. The movie, The Purge, is real focused on the color blue. This is what this other guy showed on his channel that I just talked about. CZ's world. He shows blue is everywhere, and it's the color of the elite. It's a color that signifies protection. Where have we heard of the color blue being used to protect the elite? Where have we heard of that before? I'm not talking about we already know about the police being represented by the color blue and how the police represent the strong arm of the elite. We get all that, but where have we recently heard about the color blue protecting the elite while everybody else gets effed off? Use your heads, guys. The elite refer to the purge election year as spring cleaning. Doesn't happen in winter, doesn't happen in summer, doesn't happen in fall. In Purge election year, that's the third movie, we learn that the insurance companies are all completely in on the Purge program as well. Yeah, they raise people's insurance. If people are on a point system, and if the probability that they'll be purged is up, the insurance companies raise their rates. Yeah, it's all in the movie. It's crazy. A theme of the purge is that the elite are using the purge to take out select victims who had been injured on the job so they don't have to pay them. It's very easy to transpose this from that to eliminating the elderly, the injured, and injured by all kinds of things, so you don't have to pay Social Security benefits, so you don't have to pay 401ks and all that, as well as eliminating all those who are in the position to oppose your designs. This is what the purge is for. In election year, the movie, there is a massive civil unrest, riots. There is a class war unfolding, not a racial war. It's a class war. What's going on all around us right now? It used to be black versus white or white versus black. It depends on your perspective. But I'm going to tell you now, it's really looking like everybody's woke up. Everybody's awakening in the past 12 months that this never was racial from the beginning. Never was. The purge is specifically designed to boost the economy. The purge period is officially called lockdown. Now, decoders of the Purge series have. Oh, I've already talked about that. Yeah, that's the color blue. Sabian. Sabian is a name that appears in 3 different characters of the Purge franchise, the shows and the movies. 3 different characters are all named Sabian. So the word is of Arabic origin. It's meaning of Saba or of Sabian. So it's very interesting. So we have a Middle Eastern Arabic injection into this narrative. A government news feed is hacked. In one of the movies, a government news feed is hacked by a resistance group. And in the message, there's a hidden flash. It's real fast. You got to stop the frame and look at it. It says, God is evil. But you can't see it with the naked eye. It's just a weird flash, and you gotta stop the frame and look at the frames, and there it is. God is evil. It's not talking about the oversoul. It's not talking about the eternal. It's not talking about the creator. It's talking about the God of this world, this construct. In the very first purge night, all the lights in the city are off, except I saw the picture. It was real weird, but all the lights in the city are off except a very large bank building, which is lit up. It even says bank on it. It's the only structure on Purge Night lit up, and it's completely lit up. The Purge evolves into a cultish religious duty to some. In the movie Election Year, The Purge, the leaders of the Purge Party, they're called the NFFT, the New Founding Fathers. The leaders of this new Purge society, they're all ministers and priests, and they perform Purge ceremonies in churches. Christian Reich, anybody? These are even called midnight purge masses. This is mass, like the Catholic Church holds mass. Midnight is a reference to darkness. In the movie Election Year, The Purge, there's a scene where the characters are driving down the road, and there's a man on a corner preaching, wearing a mask. He's preaching. He's basically saying, behold, the gates of hell have opened. In the movie, a Russian spy drone follows an American politician in The Purge. When the drone is blown up in an explosion, it lights up a wall that has graffiti on it. And the graffiti says, keep Washington beautiful. I find the inclusion of the Russian spy drone was very interesting, but keep Washington beautiful. I'm wondering if there's more to that than just the. I'm not claiming to understand that there's any type of hidden message here. I'm just saying that is there one here? Keep Washington beautiful. Let's see, because it was ugly graffiti that said it. So during the purges, once a year, foreigners come here to do murder tours during the purge. They have immunity. Tourists come in here and they get to watch Americans just killing each other. It's crazy. Yeah. Wonder who these foreigners really are and how long this has really been going down behind the scenes. So there's license plates on vehicles that read "A Nation Reborn." Like Texas, on Texas license plates, some people can get like the Lone Star State, but it's on these license plates in the movie, it says "A Nation Reborn." The words that are repeated more than any other through all the Purge movies and all the television shows, it was a television series too, through all the Purge franchise, what is said more than anything else in all of them is, I hate this night. I hate this night is repeated. It's a phrase that is repeated in all the Purge movies, and I'm wondering if that phrase is a part of the overall ritual. If it was given a different meaning. Because that's what ritual is about. It's assigning meaning to things, and that the people that are performing the rituals have no idea what the ritual is even about. Most people don't even know it's a ritual. They're just out there dancing. They don't even know. But the construct knows because it's been informed. So in the movie Election Year, the president of the United States is killed. In the movie Election Year, we have a remote briefcase bomb involved. We have guillotines used in the Purge. People set up these guillotines, and when they capture people, because that's what's going on. People stay locked up. They stay locked up in their houses, and all. They have security systems and all that. And a lot of people in security systems are the number one seller, and guns are the number one, or like the number two seller, or something like that. It's a gun and a security system economy. So another unique item in this franchise is that there are lists of names shown on ledgers, on walls, on posters, signs, all throughout the TV series and the movies. And the names are real. This franchise put real people's names on all these fictional ledgers and posters and signs and all that. And when all these are read, they're the cameramen, the crew, the setup crew, the directors, the financiers, the stuntmen, the actors and actresses. They're all named throughout the entire movie. This is troubling to me. This is troubling to me because the construct reads informed fields. It doesn't know the difference between fact and fiction. It's a neutral field. It accepts as true anything that is uploaded into it. So this right here is the weaving of facts. These are real people with real names, real people making these movies. These are their real names injected into their product. They're acting all this out. To the construct, it lends more credibility. It adds more energy to the building of what is being conveyed, whatever this elaborate series of cinematic rituals are trying to do. In the movie The Forever Purge, it's the 5th movie in the series. It's called The Forever Purge. There's a disturbing scene. This blonde-haired newscaster sitting there giving her little news voice and all this stuff. And then she says, "Good night, Texas. Good night and good luck." Not only is there special emphasis on this announcement, but Good Night and Good Luck is the name of a movie that came out in 2005. Referencing this movie, Good Night and Good Luck, the movie is about men who are dead set on tarnishing the name of Senator McCarthy. McCarthy had published a list of thousands of names of Jewish people who had changed their names to conceal their identities. And they were working in different branches of the U.S. government. And they were working against the U.S. people. Senator McCarthy said that communism was already here and it was already hiding in plain sight and was all around us. And they shut him up fast. This is in the 1950s. So it's called McCarthyism. And because a certain people own all the newspapers and all the publishing outlets and all Hollywood and all that, they were able to convince the world by just blitzkrieging all this negative data about Senator McCarthy. It was all swept up under the rug. But Senator McCarthy already knew that the United States of America was a captured operation way back then, and they shut him up. Why would these Purge movies hark back to that? Very specific. Good night, Texas. Good night and good luck. That's exactly how she said it. So, very interesting, guys. A lot of parallels with modern history here in these deals. So I'm going to go ahead and take off this video to show you these amazing screenshots. The screenshots are going to blow your mind because they blew mine. Thank you, United people. I haven't been really paying attention to the comment section. I can't. I'm just going too hard right now. All right, so we're going to remove that. These screenshots are amazing. Let's do it. Move that from studio. Let me go find these screenshots real quick. Okay, so I know where I'm at. I know what I'm working with here. Gotta be careful. I got so many files. And I need to clean this desktop off because I got files from prior videos. All right. Move this up. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna share my screen again. Check my chat. All right. All right, let's see here. All right. Share my screen. Oops. Share my screen. Oh, I don't even have to have any notes with these. These are self-explanatory. Straight from the movie. Okay. Let's go with... Man, where am I at? You know what? I got multiple. Hold on, I got multiple different screenshots. I'm sorry. Pattern 1. What was pattern 1? Oh. Okay, so I showed you in that pattern earlier. We got to get these out the way first. I showed you the calendrics showing you how the Purge movies are connected to these eclipses. It's right here. May 29th, 2019, George Floyd was detained by Minneapolis police during a traffic stop. He was a passenger in an unlicensed car when officers found him with a bottle of pain pills. They handcuffed him and took him to the city's 3rd police precinct station. However, it's important to note that the events that sparked widespread protests and demonstrations occurred in 2020 after George Floyd's tragic death. This is when they locked the White House down when protesters marched on Washington, D.C. George Floyd protests right here, Washington, D.C. The White House is on lockdown the night of May 29th, right here. That is crazy. May 29th. Now we live in a hologram. Let's see. So I want to show you this pattern real quick. So here's the first Purge movie is set in 2022. The first Purge movie is set in 2022. The second Purge movie is set in 2023, right here. The third Purge movie, get this. This is crazy. The third Purge movie is set in 2040. The sun darkening Phoenix phenomenon and all that. However, the main character in this movie shares a personal experience. And in that personal experience, she's running for election. And she's speaking to a crowd. And as she's running for election, she specifically says, my parents were killed during the eclipse of a purge when I was a child, or when I was young. My parents were killed during the eclipse purge. You can't make this stuff up. This one is actually designed for 2024. At least in the pattern that they established in releasing the movies. Now, I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, don't say Jason said The Purge is 2024. I'm not telling you that. I'm telling you that all of this is highly ritualistic and it's all connected to this eclipse. What are eclipses? They're signs. What do signs denote? To pay attention because something is about to happen. It doesn't mean it's going to happen on that date. It just means pay attention, something's about to happen. Maybe something will explode across April 8th. That's up for you to decide because we're not done here. I got a long list right here of amazing stuff to show you. Let's get to it. See that. All right, so in The Purge, look at this. In the third movie, The Purge election year, which should have been 2024. Here it is right here. The plot revolves around Senator Charlie Roan, who survived the annual Night of Lawlessness when her family was killed. She aims to end the purge. And during her campaign, she reveals that her family was murdered during an eclipse. Well, there's only so many eclipses she could have been murdered at. Or they could have been murdered at in the past. Here's another reference here. Plot summary, The Purge election year. It's set in 2040. Charlie Roan is running for president. She's running against the Purge Party, NFFT. Eclipse reference in the movie. During the Purge, an eclipse occurs, adding an eerie and ominous atmosphere to the chaos. The eclipse serves as a visual backdrop. Now listen, guys, this isn't describing an eclipse in 2040 because it's in 2040 that she says that her parents were killed when she was young during an eclipse during a purge. Purge is only 12 hours a year. So it wasn't 2040, it was sometime in the distant past when she was younger. Look at this, The Purge election year. You can't make this stuff up. The film's very tagline, the tagline for this film in 2016. What does that say? This is the tagline for that movie right there. The movie would have been written before 2016. Sounds a whole lot like Make America Great Again. That's the tagline for The Purge election year. Absolutely crazy. Insane. All right, so what's this? May 20th. I just showed you that date is connected. May 20th. The World Health Organization reports most of the new cases in a single day. On this date, they reported 106,000 worldwide COVID-19. It's an important date because it was a huge spike as opposed to prior reports. I don't think I've talked about May 20th yet. We're going to get to that because it is connected. So if you want to know more, go to this guy's channel right here, CS World. Pretty good breakdown. I liked it. Okay, so I'm done with that. Move on. All right. Oh no, we got some more crazy stuff to look at. Okay, you know what this is. You know what this is. So why in the year 2040 do the directors focus on this gaming system? Why did they focus on this gaming system in a movie that was supposed to be set in 2040? And decoders of the movie have all criticized the movie because although it's set in 2040, it says almost all the tech that's available in the movie was in our time today. It's like they specifically chose not to look like Blade Runner 2040, Blade Runner 2046 or whatever, 2048. They just specifically chose not to make the world look like that. And all the technology, this isn't me telling you this. This guy, CZ, on his channel, he specifically mentioned that. He says it's so weird that the movie is set in 2020, but everything you see in the movie is as if it happened today. That's ritual. This is the gaming system used today, not in 2020. It's crazy. What is that? What is that? I got a drink. Hold on. I don't need to say anything out loud. So look at this. Look at this crazy stuff. This is a screenshot taken from The Purge, the Purge movie Election Day. What do you notice about that screenshot? Look at that. It may just be coincidence. May be coincidence, but I do know that the first eclipse in 2017 passed over 7 Salems. Now, all throughout the Purge movies, this is what we see. The eye is everywhere. It is a symbol for the Purge party. The eye is seen everywhere in artwork. They don't focus on it. It's just there. It's everywhere. Look at that. It's an artwork everywhere in the movies. The eye. I'm going to come back to that one. There it is again on the back, on the left. The eye. Almost missed it here. Look at that in the dead center. Thank you, CZ. CZ caught that one. Look at that. There it is. That's the eye. Is that a horseshoe? Is that for luck? There's another eye. Just listen, if you blink, you'll miss them because the camera's moving fast. You got to take your screenshots fast. They're all over the movie. And it never focuses on them fast. You got to catch that screenshot quick. So we're going to go back to this one. Because in all my research, you guys know I did the occultist mysterium. I showed hundreds of pictures of the alchemical illustrations and paintings and all the artwork showing you that the elite have been knowing about the Phoenix all along. They know every 138 years they hide in bunkers underground. They do this. Been knowing about it. But look at this. I have never, in all my research, and I would like Martin Leakey's opinion on it because he's seen more images than I have. But I have never in all my research seen the eye pyramid symbol like this with a sword stuck in it. Never seen that one. There it is. Artistic license, maybe. All right, so that's that file. I've already gone through those. So in the show, little romantic scene going on over here, but there's a catch in this picture. There's a catch in this picture. CZ caught it. Right here on this pillow, the director's cameraman, they made sure that if you blew this up, you would see that there was some type of word here. It's out. It's something out. So let's look closer. Oh, there it is. Lights out. What happens when the lights go out? There it is. Lights out. What happens when the lights go out? It goes dark. It's darkness. Another eclipse reference. That could be reaching. And if anybody accuses me of reaching, I'll accept it. That's a rather weak one, but I'm just, you know what? When you're doing an unveil of this magnitude, you got to take it all, you got to chew it all up and spit out the bones. Whatever doesn't fit, chew it, spit it out. Spit it out. It's no big deal. So I want to see real quick if I have. So the world of the purge, guys. I have some screenshots to show you that's going to blow your mind, but I gotta bring something else to your attention first. This the eye symbolism and all that. The world of the purge is one of total surveillance. Everything is surveilled. All the elite, all the rich, all the upper levels of society, the upper class, they can afford these security systems, steel doors, and they cover their windows and all that. And they're basically, their survival rate is about 99.9%. Only one like rich person was purged that I saw, and it was a stockbroker. And they hung a sign in front of his deal, and it was rare because most of them are middle class. Most of the people who suffer are the working middle class. Those are the main ones that get purged. The ones that are doing the purging are the lower class and those who have taken financial incentives to participate. That's what's happened. And this ensures that the rich stay rich and stay protected, and the middle class gets culled every single year. All right, let's see if I covered all that. Okay, I got one thing left to show right here before we go into the final four calendrics. Where is it? Let me find it. All right. Now, check my chat. This is where it gets good. I'm going to show you three screenshots from the movie. The calendrics links the Purge franchise movies to the vaccine, Pfizer eclipses, principally April 8th eclipse. This is what they do. The evidence that I have shown thus far is not conclusive. You could not have shown me what I have just shown you to get me to agree that there was enough evidence. I'm being perfectly honest with you. It's very compelling. The three patterns I showed at the beginning in the calendrics, man, it's real persuasive. Because I'm a chronologist. It's very persuasive. But I'm going to tell you, even looking at all this stuff about the Purge movies, listen, it's still not enough to pass my litmus test to say, okay, we're onto something. We're onto something. But I have 7 more pieces of data to show you that do pass muster. By the time I'm done with this video, I'm going to assert that yes, the Purge movies are rituals, and they were set and designed for 2024 to unfold in a very similar fashion this way. I'm not saying 2024 is going to unfold this way. I'm saying that the 7 points of information I'm about to give you now convinces me, added to what I've already presented, that yes, this was the intent. It's a sinister intent. Are they going to succeed? I don't know, but this was the intent. Here's the first one. We're going straight into it. Straight into it. I got to share my screen again. A woman in the Purge movies. She's a leader in the Purge. She's holding a machine gun. She's holding an assault rifle. She's giving a speech. When she's giving a speech, she's telling the people all these things I'm about to read from 3 screenshots, straight from the script of the movie. And yet, the movie wasn't even about any of these things. This woman is saying things that only pertain to our time. They did not pertain to anything going on in the entire Purge movie franchise universe. Nothing. This was a dead clue to me that this was ritual. Here it is. Present, share screen. All right. She's on the bridge with a microphone. You can see her right there with this assault rifle and a microphone, and got a whole bunch of people in the Purge killing people listening to her as she's giving a speech. This is what she says. The graphics are from CZ's World on his channel. She says, I'm doing God's work. He uses an earthquake, a virus. The masses nourish and flourish. I am that virus tonight. I am a one-woman effing plague, and you're all in my path. This is ritual, 100%. Nothing in any of the plague movies ever talks about an earthquake, ever. Nor does it talk about this, ever. None of those have anything to do with the plague deal. However, what's going on in all the what's going on during all these shows is ritual patterning. What is the common denominator between every single one of these franchise movies? I don't have one here. The common denominator, my friends, is this right here. It's a part of the ritual. They're all wearing them. Every participant in the movies is wearing one of these. And this is years before they ever forced this on the population. Pantomime, ritual, and patterning. She said, I am the Holy Trinity. I am the Father, Effer, Son, and she's just cussing, holy whatever. And my MP9 silver-tipped auto magnum. She's just running her mouth. The right arm of the free world and the left hand of God. In flaming fire, I take the heads of them that know not God. Christian Reich, anyone? When it comes to ritual, things never unfold exactly the way that they were intended. And the reason is there's too much information in the field. And with the field being oversaturated with so many different Hollywood productions and all that, it had the individuals that are creating these rituals and uploading their intent into the field, by which then the directors and cameramen and all the actors and actresses participate, lending energy by going through the physical ritual itself, the script of the movie. Every bit of this is being uploaded into a construct that will, in a future date, reflect back as circumstances that which basically it's so complex. It's very difficult for me. I don't have the vocabulary to describe exactly this mirror-like phenomenon, but I've done it in the personal. I tell you guys all the time in the personal how this works. We are a highly individualized, immortal being, a soul. We're just using an avatar, and the avatar belongs to the construct, and the construct can anticipate what we're thinking and what we're going to do based off what our avatar is doing, and 10,000 other times our avatar has done other things, and the construct is very good at pattern recognition. Very good at pattern recognition. So this patterning, when the events finally unfold, it's going to unfold similarly to the way it was intended. but other factors, environmental factors, other things that are put out by the construct, other people's mental constructs coming to pass, also create what are known as interference patterns. Those interference patterns alter the output of a single person's mental projection. This is why nothing ever actually happens exactly. What is his name? Thomas Vaughn, I think, or Douglas Vaughn, not Douglas Voigt. I can't remember. He said that patterns repeat themselves, but always with variations. So this is what we have here. It's very compelling that this was a part of the script. It has no business being in the movie. They made a bunch of they focused on it, talking about I am the earthquake and I am the virus right here in the movie. I am doing God's work. This is all some real Christian fundamental. Remember, I told you guys 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I was putting predictions videos out saying that, hey guys, in the near future, you're going to start seeing a lot of evidence of a Christian right gaining a lot of power, and then it's going to become a Christian Reich. And yeah, executions are going to be on the table. Yeah, I told you these are old predictions videos of mine. I was just reading the field, looking at the field. All right, so let me get back here and look at these 4 calendrics deals. We have 4 more things to show you. These are pure calendrics. I need to show these to you. Go back here and find the syllabus. All right. All right. That was pattern 3. Okay. So, check my chat real quick. Oh yeah, I'm not even trying to introduce any of that controversy. I don't care if they're real or not. It has nothing to do with calendrics. If a large portion of the population believe that something is real, then it affects the field, and it becomes real in experience. Just like forcing me to wear a mask doesn't make the virus real. Doesn't make it real at all. But what was real was that there were consequences if I went into public places and I wasn't wearing it. So yeah, whether the initial cause is fact or fiction doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter at all. All right. Hell yeah. The majority of what the public believes is absolutely untrue. That's the subject matter of my channel. The majority of things people believe are absolutely untrue. It is about perception. All right. So I showed you that little clip May 20th. I showed you that clip on May 20th, guys. On May 20th, the World Health Organization announced that coronavirus outbreak was at its peak. And it wasn't just a peak, it spiked up from the days before that. So this was the first big scare day. And what's interesting about that is that date of January 30th, 2020, when they made that announcement, that is 1,530 days before the eclipse of April 8th that we're waiting on right now. 1530 days. That is 153 times 10. Remember what I told you about the number 153. It's not what you think. 2448, the Exodus and the 10 plagues number, 2448. 153 is when an outside force intervenes and overrides what has been going on inside the construct. We can never ignore that number. Everywhere it appears, 153, it is an interruption. You can call it a pattern break. because it was definitely a pattern break in ancient Egypt when things were going well and they had this huge population that they could work the hell out of and all. I don't know if they were totally enslaved or anything like that, but they were rich and they were doing good, and all of a sudden these things happened fast, and when they did, their empire collapsed and whole cultures just took off in fleets of ships and populated Greece and populated Ionia and populated the Israelite Canaanite coasts. Everybody took off. And then the story of the Bible, which has one group going through the mountains and they get lost in the mountains for 40 years. I don't know how that happened, but it's a small area. But either way, it's 153 is a pattern break number. It is a number when something that has been going on for a while in the construct suddenly gets interrupted. That whatever your interpretation, that remains to be seen. So this is the number 153, pattern break, introduction, a interruption from an outside force. The number 153 times 10, the number of completion, the decimal number. So we have, it's like a number, it's like finality. It's like this is a total pattern break. That's what's being signified here. Who knows? I mean, I'm gonna get to that later. But let's see. I don't want to speculate yet. So that's a nice piece of calendrical data. Those of my archaics veterans who have gone through my Chronicon, they've seen this number 1530 and where it appears in history, and 2448 and other numbers that are divisible by 153, and just the number 153 by itself. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. So on February 11th, 2020, the virus is officially called COVID-19. This is February 11th, 2020. Now, this is precisely 1,518 days to the eclipse we're waiting on now, 4/8/2024. 1,518 days is divisible by 138. This is the Phoenix number, fine structure constant. You guys know it, especially my veterans. You all know about the 138 number. 138 times 11. 11 is the number of chaos and disorder. 10 is the number of completion and order. 9 is the number of evil. 8 is the number of new beginnings. 7 is a cycle. When 7 pass, the 8th is actually number 1 of the next series of 7. This is why 8 is a very unique number, and it's shown as the infinity symbol, because it's the number of cycle. We live in a construct that is based on a series of sevens and everything. So it's and in the 7 cycle, the week or the Sabbath, wherever you want to call it, the 8th is actually the first of the next series of 7. And this is why it loops like that. This is why it looks like a loop, the number 8. So here we have 11, which is total disorder, total chaos. And it's total chaos times 138, the number for darkness. 138, everywhere 138 appears, it's Phoenix phenomenon. What is Phoenix? The main feature of the Phoenix phenomenon creates darkness. So that's another calendrical point. Here's another one. April 30th, 2020, the Trump administration launches Operation Warp Speed. April 30th, 2020 is exactly 1,440 days before April 9th, the day after the eclipse. 1,440 days is 144 times 10. Again, the number of completion. 144 is a cycle that closes. It's 12 times 12. 1,440 is a golden proportion number, one of the chief numbers of the construct itself. Again, people new to my channel, you're going to get lost in these numbers. Those who have been on my channel for a while, you already know, especially those who have read Chronicon, and you see where these numbers play massive significance throughout the historical record. Operation Warp Speed is absolutely attached to the day after the eclipse. Operation Warp Speed was basically increasing the velocity of providing the public the vaccine. So, in the movie, The Purge election year, July 1st, 2016 is when it was released. The Purge election year, July 1st, 2016. This is 2,838 days. It's 2,838 days to the eclipse of April 8th that we're waiting on now. 2,838 days split in half, looking at it isometrically, is 1,419 days. So 1,419 days after this movie election year came out, and 1,419 eclipse of April 8th is the date of May 20th, 2020. I showed you that earlier. I showed you that earlier. May 20th, 2020, when the World Health Organization reports that the cases for COVID-19 on a single day had spiked higher than ever before, and the world began to panic. So, yeah, that's totally. There it is, The Purge election year. The movie that was supposed to be about 2024 is connected to, again, right there, COVID-19, and connected again to the eclipse. Yeah, you can't make this stuff up, guys. That is 7 pieces of calendrics that were supposed to be shared in the first video that I just didn't realize existed. And they all attach to the eclipse. They all attach to the Purge movie franchises, to Pfizer, the Vax, and COVID-19. They're all mathematically connected. It's all a part of the same mathematical construct. And it started with the Purge franchise movies. So, guys, the elite, they operate on a sharing the blame principle. And what I mean is they use deception to falsify a phenomenon that induces people to trust and then act on that trust, believing in the truth of the matter, such as these things are safe, such as there's no repercussions, and then guilting you for not participating, and then trying to demonize you because you don't have faith in whatever system they're trying to impose upon you. This is what the elite do. You aren't forced. There's a reason for this. There's a karmic discharge that is necessary that allows them to keep perpetuating doing this stuff. So it's in this way, guys, that because no one made them agree to anything, then the elite reverse the situation. The karmic discharge follows when the elite then tell the truth, and they tell the public exactly, oh man, we're sorry, but these things are bad. And when they do that, it completely, you got to understand, the construct is not based on morals and ethics. It is a neutral field. 100%. It understands the karmic buildup. It understands how energy attaches to morals and ethics and decisions and all that, but it doesn't govern. It doesn't stop anybody from doing anything that they want to do. As immortals passing through this evil construct, we are attached to source by intuition, empathy, and imagination. 100%. But the construct is not restricted to the dictates of the spirit. It's to things that are ethical and moral. So the elite have found a way, a masterful way, to make the population basically condemn themselves and then take the moral high ground by telling the truth to the population, and then the population goes into a rage and gets disgusted because they fell for a trap, and then they get mad and they want to take it out on people. They want to take it out, but the elite have basically minimized their karmic debt by telling the truth. I know people don't want to hear this, but this has been going on for centuries. It's been going on for a long period of time. It is a playbook that has played out for thousands of years. They've only become great masters of it in the past centuries. But in this way, the elite get the people to participate in their wickedness, and they get to escape much of basically the karmic energy. They deflect the blame. I didn't make you do that. I just laid it all out there. You might have been pressured, but I didn't make you do that. And then discharge even more of that karmic energy by coming out and giving full disclosure, or allowing others to do full disclosure without censoring them. Yeah, guys, we live in an absolutely effing wicked construct. There is no doubt. There is no doubt. So I'm suspecting that on the date of the eclipse or on the very next day, there may be some kind of disclosure, guys, that that's going to enrage the public. In this way, the elite get their riots, they get their collapse of order and the violence, while also holding the moral high ground because they told the truth. I have to remind you guys that 7, 8, or 9 months ago, I released a video called, what was it called? The breaking of the second seal, or the second seal broken, one of them, where I'm explaining that the second seal, breaking of the first seal, but I explained the second seal as well. I have a video on the second seal, but I told you it's all about doing what? It's not about world war. It's not about nuclear strikes. I told you that's off the table. I've been telling you that for years. There's no nuclear stuff. It's all off the table. But what's going to happen is they're going to take peace from the earth. It's right there. It's the second horseman. It's the second seal. It's the second seal. This is where Apollo Pharmakeia, who lied, who used the medical basically establishments of the construct to harm the human family, now becomes Apollo Helios. Apollo Helios. He's now has his power over the sun. How this translates in the construct isn't really clear, but I suspect the coming disclosure is going to be about sunlight and how those who participated in the first seal, Apollo Pharmakeia's arrow that he shot, if they took that arrow, they're probably going to be told something about sunlight they don't want to hear. This is supposition, but it's just based off the trajectory of events. So anyway, taking peace from the earth is exactly what they're going to do. And they're going to do it by telling the truth. Telling the truth. Not all the truth, but enough truth to where they can discharge themselves. And then all the following chaos after that, they're not participants. How do we know? Because they're in their bunkers. They're not participants. So, is there about to be some big announcement that certain people who participated in these agreed to arrows can no longer endure exposure of direct sunlight? I don't know. But it sure looks that way. I don't know. So, a lot of folks think it is the eclipse itself and the event. And, there's just a lot of talk about that everything's going down when the eclipse occurs. Well, I'm unconvinced. Will the eclipse occur? Yes. I'm unconvinced that it's going to happen as the eclipse occurs. But I'm pretty convinced that we need to be paying very close attention to actually after the eclipse is passed, it's over with, the events that are going to follow after that. In the wake of the eclipse is where I want to concentrate my attention. That's what I want to look at. This is all, the eclipse is the third one, and it's the final one of these total eclipses over North America. They formed the X. It were confirmed by South America. It was a palindrome. We've got it confirmed. We've now linked it all to the Purge ritual movies and how the Purge is all linked to Pfizer and the vax and the needles. Well, all this is interconnected into one mathematical construct. It's amazing. But there may be another facet of the ritual. I believe this is all preparatory to the second seal. The migrant fifth columns are already in place. We know their weapon stashes are all over the place. They're going to take peace from the earth. Our nation's going to get taken over? No, I don't believe that was the plan to begin with at all. It's to take peace from the earth. Yeah, and they may be participants. Is some type of purge scenario going to unfold after all this? It may be. And they may be unleashed. All these migrant soldiers everywhere in all these countries may be unleashed to do what they do during this chaos, which adds to the chaos, which does what? It fulfills the second seal. The second seal is about small arms warfare, urban warfare. It's not about armies and battles and all that stuff. It's about taking peace from the earth. So, one final little thing I need to show you because it just recently came to my attention by somebody else. But there's a movie slated to appear right after the eclipse. Within 30 days of the eclipse, they haven't put a date on it, I don't think, last I looked. But there's a movie that's already slated. Remember, movies are rituals, just like the Olympic deals. Movies are rituals. And here it is. I'm gonna share it with you. But this is what they intend to release to the public after the eclipse. This movie here. That is the Statue of Liberty with soldiers, snipers. There's the torch. Remember, whose hand is this? That's Apollo. It was Apollo Pharmakeia, but now it's going to be who? Apollo Helios. Who's Apollo Helios? He's the torchbearer. Fire is a symbol of the sun. This is the movie. It's going to be released after the eclipse. Now, I'm going to go deeper with this. The movie's called Civil War. Spring of 2024. The Purge was about spring cleaning. All right. Now, I'm going to go a little bit deeper with this. For sure. I can't believe I fit this under 2 hours. So, the ritual of these Purge movies, the ritual of releasing news and releasing the vaccine on certain dates that were correlating perfectly with the eclipse calendar. Every bit of this is contrived, this massive series of interrelated rituals. They're all connected. This movie, Civil War, may not be what you think it is. Actually trying to cause the American people to go into a civil war. It may not. It may be. This is a photo negative way of thinking. We have to think in terms as the elite would be trying to discharge some of the karmic debt, the energy. Because believe me, if the elite could just enslave everybody, they'd have done it a long time ago. But they're not. There's an opposing force. It's another subject matter of my channel that we have a benefactor, and I'm always showing evidence that the benefactor has moved when he's moved or she's moved. I'm on board with all that, but it's. I don't believe the movie is trying to instigate civil war. The movie, remember, the construct requires that these patterns that are built and released by it are discharged. But the discharging of energy can be reabsorbed back into the construct and experienced by us in different ways. This movie could literally be another way the elite can discharge this karmic debt and not suffer the consequences of their actions, because all this stuff that was put into play, civil war, violence, all these things are actually experienced by the viewers when they watch the movie, and it's the movie that triggers something else. Has nothing to do with civil war at all. Yeah, guys, when you're reading the field, we have to look from the perspective of both how the neutral field of the construct and the elite. What are their objectives? I'm telling you their objectives. I know what their objectives are. I've been publishing them for years. Their objectives are to keep us distracted and busy so we don't focus on the fact that they're making their exits around 2030, 2031, 2032, and them and their families are going deep in underground facilities, deep earth biospheres to go live out the next 20, 25 years during the Phoenix phenomenon and the return of the Nemesis X object. Yeah, I have a whole playlist just about that. Just about that. Yeah, 60-something videos just about the one statement I just made to you just now. Yeah, these aren't spoken lightly, guys. When we take all these things into context, rituals and how they manifest in the field and all that, I'm seeing chaos erupt, but for totally different reasons than the media is putting out. Yeah, I'm seeing a type of disclosure that actually creates the chaos that we think the elite are going to unleash on us, when a lot of people are going to unleash it on themselves and on each other. I can see a world very soon when the very people who think that they are our saviors and have been basically paraded as the protectors of humanity now become the victims. Can you imagine what people are going to do when they find out how much money hospitals received for participating in that program? Full disclosure means all this stuff comes out. And the elite get what they want. It takes peace from the earth. So no, Jason's not predicting that all the world's going to fall apart and the new Madrid quakes are going to happen and all this stuff. If it does, then it was all in the field. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying it was in the field. We were all warned. There's hundreds of thousands of people all in that strip of shadow out there, and something happens to them, they were warned. They were warned. But I'm not saying that. My first video and my second video on the eclipse is not saying that all this chaos and destruction is going to happen during the eclipse. No. In reading the field, I'm seeing something different. I'm seeing that it is the final sign that is given to us before a whole nother series of events unfolds that may be very similar to that, but it's going to be stretched over a period of time. And I believe the first hint of what's really coming is the day after the eclipse. That's my presentation, guys. That's my presentation. I kept it shorter than the other one. Like I said, this should have been a part of the first one, the first presentation. It ate at me and ate at me and ate at me. So what's going to happen here is the reason this presentation doesn't seem as impressive as the first is you have not seen this in chart form yet, like I showed you in the first one. I'm going to show it in chart form, but I have been busy as hell putting all this together. I never had a chance to even draw a chart. So in the next couple of hours, I will post the chart on YouTube and on Twitter so you guys can screenshot it and share it. I'll post the chart. So that's all, because you need to see a visual representation. I had already scheduled this video for 2 o'clock and I just didn't have time to finish the chart. But you're going to get the chart. It's free. It'll be posted on both YouTube and I'm pretty sure Don's going to post it in all the Facebook groups so you guys can blow it up, screenshot it, and share it, and combine it with the first chart. But that's my presentation, guys. And yeah, it's remember, you got to remember we're existing in two separate realities at the exact same time. Sometimes we really do need to pay attention to the particulars of the construct because it's telling us what the collective are going through. And yeah, we are powerful enough to pull other people out of the collective programming so they can understand that they are highly individualized souls. It can even be done temporarily to offer them an aegis, some type of protection from whatever's going on. We're powerful. We're able to do that. I have protected many in my inner circle just from the very fact that I knew my informed field could expand farther than myself and include them in it, even though they don't believe what I believe. That's how powerful we are, guys. We are attached to Source. Source is the oversoul. And in the calendrics, if you disbelieve anything I said about the number 153, you need to download my Chronicon, because everywhere I show that when the construct is doing things and when the elite are steadily hammering human family with event after event, there's pattern breaks. Those pattern breaks are almost always attached to the number 153. Got to pay attention, guys. This is how a chronologist reads the field. I'm not getting into this type of stuff, guys. This is not my forte. I don't even like doing these type. I didn't want to do the first video. I didn't. I want to get back to my historical studies to show you how God is moving in the field. And this is what we understand, how the events of history have brought us to this point. And I want to go back to showing you how the God of this world, who is in opposition to the true oversoul, is also moving in the construct, because it's all there in the arithmetic, every bit of it. And then in reading the field of history is my specialty. This is what I like to do, not this eclipse shit. I don't like this. I don't like it. I don't like how it makes me feel. And it takes a whole lot of time to do it, but I do understand that it's absolutely necessary to get this people out, to get this information out, so we can be prepared. You need to prepare. Yeah, everybody needs to prepare. I mean, I'm not going to doomsay. I'm not going to introduce anything to your field, in a field like that. But I am very, very comfortable that we're going to be just fine. Hell, I'm doing a meetup on the 30th. And then I'm going to Florida and doing another meetup. I'm going to do that too. It's in my field. I'm doing that. And that means whatever events are going to happen between now and when I'm going to do that, whatever this eclipse is, it's not really going to trouble me, and it's not really going to affect me. Simple as that. So that's my message. Anything else that happens will not surprise me, because it is in the field. It is in the field. But an absolute iron fist prediction about what's going to happen, that's not in the field. Every bit of this is attached to ritual. It's all attached to ritual, and it's attached to the actual dates when the public became aware of major things about the vaccine, Pfizer, vaccine manufacturing, and when it was released to the public. And then these pass through those filters to these 3 eclipses, all 3 of them. So this is what we have. Now I'm done with my presentation. Hey, Rhonda, it's been a while. I've met Rhonda a few times. Dr. Corey Stern, thank you. Yeah, I tried to keep it under 2 hours. Still running my mouth. I'm still running my mouth. Oh, wow. I'm never going to catch all these comments. Wow. All right. So, hey, Christopher. Otter Christopher. Nice. That's right, Boopster. I ain't scared. Yeah, man. It's disclosure's coming, guys. Disclosure's coming. It's all in the field. Disclosure's coming. But that's not necessarily a good thing. Did you rue? All right. It's going to take me hours to get through all these comments. I do read them. Believe me, my moderators tell you, I read all the comment sections every time. Takes me a while, but I listen to every video, because if there's a piece of disinformation in there, I'll address it in a subsequent video. Let's see. All right. which means I should mention that. I should mention that. Out of all the data that was provided in the first video, you guys know that it's a tenet of my channel not to cite the internet. It's a tenet of my channel that all the Archaics data comes from old books and reports, and that still remains to be true. But when it came to these eclipse deals, I had to Google all these dates for Pfizer and all this. I didn't have choice, and it just shows you that what I've been telling you is absolutely accurate, because I Googled a certain date and it gave me some false information. Sure did. Somebody brought it to my attention in the comments section. Several people brought it to my attention, but it was just a data point. It was very unimportant. It was the date. It was just a single event, which didn't have anything to do with my presentation, but it was the exact date of the Las Vegas shooting. Was it Las Vegas or Reno or something? But yeah, I didn't have any information on it. But yeah, Google pulled up all these events that happened on a certain date that I Googled, gave me a wrong deal. And it was in the list. And what's crazy about it is it's not that you heard it from me wrong. I showed the screenshot of all those events. It was listed among. I was like, wow. Just goes to show you. I tell you guys all the time, do not trust these search engines. Don't trust Google. It's terrible. Terrible. Just like I got 2 videos on ChatGPT. I actually caught my first video. I literally caught ChatGPT lying, making up bibliographic references that didn't exist, because it interested me. I was researching things I was really interested in, and when it started spitting out books and authors I had never heard of before, mixed in with some of them that I have that video on YouTube now. Maybe one of my moderators will put it on there. But I asked ChatGPT for more information on these authors and books, because I know everything about the Phoenix. I wanted, and it produced more. So as soon as I got off of ChatGPT, I went over to, thank you, Steven Segura. I went over to a JSTOR website, academic website. I subscribed to it. So I went to the JSTOR website and I went to those authors. Those academics exist. Those publications did not. So I looked up the periodicals. When I go to the periodicals, those volumes and editions and page numbers exist, but that's not what's on those pages. And I went through the whole thing, table of contents. I couldn't believe it. Over and over and over and over, the more you press ChatGPT 4, I'm talking about the advanced version 4 for details, the more it lies to you specifically. Gives you really highly specific deceptions. None of them true. So I did a second video. on ChatGPT 4, and I asked it a whole series of questions about are we in a simulation? Are we in a construct? You wouldn't believe the output on that video. It was awesome. Awesome. Google sucks. Oh, and Microsoft Bing. Not just Google. Microsoft Bing's terrible too. Gives you bad information. Yeah, man. All right, I'm just running my mouth. That's my deal. But yeah, all those open AI systems is nothing but what the elite want you to know. It's all the standard stuff. You're not gonna learn anything good in there. You're not gonna learn any of the Archaics data in there at all. At all. Welcome, Peglegate. Oh, Peg Leg Pete. All right. I thought it was another language or something. I'm gonna go ahead and hit that awesome outro. Love you guys. And I'm gonna get busy on that chart while I'm listening to this video over again. I'm gonna do that chart. Give me about 2 hours, guys. I'm gonna post that chart. Oh, and so there's no confusion. Yeah, listen, guys, y'all are welcome to share all my research. Been saying it for years. I got hundreds of PDFs. I got a bunch of them free. I got all my videos. I got stuff all over archaics.com. You can read for months on archaics.com. I got that much stuff. I got a blog on there, 150 something articles. Yeah, you're more than welcome to share all my stuff. I say that all the time. All I ask is that you cite the source, because it's getting real bad, guys. I've already showed you. My books have appeared all over the world in different venues for sale, but it's not me selling them. It's not my publisher selling them. Yeah, my articles have been repackaged, Hell, the Phoenix hypothesis, that dude stole all my research, repackaged it, and then I did a video doing a book critique on it, showing how clever it was. Listen, guys, this stuff is real. It's real, guys. There's a lot of people out there that are taking my material, repackaging it, not citing me or anything, and then injecting their own narratives in there with my stuff. Dude, this is real. That's why I have zero tolerance for it when I see it at all. And I'm going to call it out every single time somebody brings it to my attention. I say, yeah, that's no good. It's no good. No good at all. All right, guys. Love you, and I'll holler at you later.